All set.
Mine.
Awesome. Meeting of the Lord. It's been a little while, so hang on. Welcome. I'm going to call the meeting of the Lawrence Township Council to order. It's great to see everyone here. It's going to be a happy day today. We're swearing in some new officers, which is always exciting. It's great to see so many people from the community. So with that, I'll read the statement of proper notice. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Tuesday, January 20th, 2026 has been provided through the posting of the annual meeting schedule of said council in accordance with section 13 of the Open Public Meetings Act. Said notice was forwarded to the Trentonian, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on December 12th, 2025. And now please can have the inspiration and pledge of allegiance, please.
May we carry on our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties in continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Carter, if we can have the roll call, please.
Ms. Farmer? Here. Mr. Kanaki?
Here.
Ms. Santos? Here. Mayor Polly?
Here. Without further ado, let's get into the oath of office for the new police officers. I believe we're going to do, I'll let the chief Redding announce who's going first, and I'll just follow your lead, Chief.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Bobbitt, members of Town Council, Town Administration, Manager Nowinski, Public Safety Director Longo, Attorney Sypek, Madam Clerk, honored guests, and members of the community. My name is Kevin Redding. I'm proud to serve as the Interim Chief of Police for the Lawrence Township Police Department. Thank you all for being here tonight for the swearing in of our police officers. This evening is about commitment. The officers being sworn in tonight have chosen a profession in service and integrity. They have worked hard to reach this moment and will have a career dedicated to protecting others and serving the Lawrence Township community with honor. I would also like to take a moment to reflect on 2025, which was truly a great year for the Lawrence Township Police Department. Throughout the entire year, we were proud to welcome these new officers. This growth strengthens our department, enhances our ability to serve the community, and demonstrates the continued commitment to public safety. These officers all graduated from the Cape May County Police Academy in 3 separate classes throughout the year. Cape May Police Academy is one of the state's most respected law enforcement academies. I would also like to recognize the family members and loved ones in attendance tonight. Your support, encouragement, and patience make this journey possible. Policing is not a commitment made by the officers alone. It is one shared by their families. To our newest officers, you're joining a department with a proud history and a strong partnership with the community we serve. You are entrusted with great responsibility, and with that comes the expectation that you will uphold the values on the patch you wear: honor, knowledge, and integrity. You will have professionalism, compassion, and respect every single day. At this time, I'd like to call up first 3. It's my privilege to introduce Kaylee Sanfilippo, badge number 273, Zachary Thomas, badge number 274, and Kanan Smith, badge number 275. All graduated from the Cape May County Police Academy, class 57, in January of 2025. Kaylee grew up in Bucks County, Pennsylvania. After graduating high school in 2018, she received a bachelor's degree from Arizona State University in Criminology and Criminal Justice. Before joining the Lawrence Township Police Department, Kaylee worked at Starbucks, which is how she was able to put herself through college. In her free time, she enjoys working out, training in martial arts, spending time with her family and friends, and cuddling with her dog, Link. Kaylee also loves watching shows like Grey's Anatomy, Bones, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. When she was hired, during her interview, she said her ultimate goal with Lawrence Police is to be a canine officer. Until then, she'd like to work through the ranks and learn as much as she can. Officer Sanfilippo is eager to hit the ground running and said that every day at Lawrence Police is different and excited for what the future holds. When asked what made her want a career in law enforcement, she said that she wants to be able to have a positive impact on the community. We're lucky to have her in the Lawrence community. Officer Zachary Thomas, badge number 274. Zach was born and raised in Howell, New Jersey. After graduating high school in 2017, he furthered his education at Brookdale Community College and then on to Rutgers University, where he decided to pursue a future in law enforcement. Before joining the Lawrence Township Police Department, he worked for Brielle Bait and Tackle. In his free time, he enjoys fishing anywhere, from freshwater to saltwater. He loves a good steak while watching Netflix shows like Alone and The Last of Us. Zach grew up playing baseball and says his favorite player is Bryce Harper because he is the definition of a true baseball player who plays with his heart. During his interview when he was hired, he said, "In 10 years, I hope to move up ranks. I also hope to one day be a father and respectable role model for younger generations." Officer Thomas is eager to learn the area, get to know the people of Lawrence Township, and when asked what made him want a career in law enforcement, he said that every person he has met in this line of work has been someone he wanted to emulate with good character. Officer Kanan Smith, badge number 275. Kanan was born and raised in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. After graduating high school in 2014, he furthered his education at Mercer County Community College. Before joining the Lawrence Township Police Department, he worked for Mercer County Parks Commission. In his free time, he enjoys working out, reading motivational books, and spending time with his loved ones. He's a diehard Eagles fan. He loves watching basketball. He doesn't have a favorite NBA team. Some of his favorite players are LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, and Luka Doncic, admiring their hard work, dedication, and the love for their craft. During his interview, he said, "My goal is to be the best I can be. I'm committed to reaching my full potential and continuously improving to be the best version of myself. In 10 years, I see myself being a strong piece of the puzzle in Lawrence Township Police Department as well as the Lawrence community." Officer Smith is eager to hit the ground running, said that every day at Lawrence Police is different. He's excited for what the future holds. When asked what made him want a career in law enforcement, he said that his dad was in law enforcement and an important role model for him growing up, so he knew early this was the profession for him. Now administer 3 oaths for officers, please.
All right, raise your right hand. You ready? I state your name.
I, Zachary Thomas,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
through the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of police officer
of a police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Next, I'd like to introduce Emmy Yard, badge number 276, and Giuseppe Joe Arari, badge number 277. Both graduated from the Cape May County Police Academy, class number 58, in June of 2025. Officer Emmy Yard graduated from Emmy is from Burlington Township, New Jersey. She completed her undergrad at Rowan University and continued her education at Liberty University, receiving her master's degree in criminology and forensic psychology. Before joining the Lawrence Township Police Department, she worked at the Mercer County Prosecutor's Office as a victim advocate. In her free time, Emmy enjoys being at the beach with her friends and family, tending to her garden and working out. She's an avid Philadelphia Flyers fan and loves watching her favorite show, Dexter. When asked why she wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement, she said, "I come from a long line of police officers, and I never really thought about being anything else. I always knew I wanted to have a career where I can help people." Emmy also hopes for a future in leadership within this department and plans to continue to work hard to reach her goals. She has also loved being out in the community events and getting to know the people of Lawrence. Officer Giuseppe Joe Arari, badge number 277. Joe also graduated Cape May, June 11, 2025. Joe grew up in Holland, Pennsylvania, graduated from Sacred Heart University in 2022, where he not only received his bachelor's degree in criminal justice, but was a student athlete on the football team. Before joining the Lawrence Township Police Department, he worked as a cook at the Richboro Pub. He loves a good cheesesteak or chicken parm. Joe enjoys being with his friends and family, going to the gym, and watching sports. His favorite teams are, we'll start, Philadelphia Phillies, Philadelphia Sixers, and the Dallas Cowboys. When asked why he wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement, he said, "I have honestly never seen myself doing anything else." He has loved being out in the community, especially at the community events, such as the Egg Hunt, 4th of July fireworks, National Night Out. When we asked Joe what some of his goals are with Lawrence Police, he said he hopes to keep improving and progressing and just be the best officer he can be.
Right hand. Ready? Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Joe Arari,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the governments
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of police officer
of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
I'd like to introduce Keon Taylor, badge number 279. Anthony DiTeresi, badge number 280. Both graduated from the Cape May County Police Academy, class 59, on January 9th, 2026. Keon graduated from the currently resides in Ewing with his partner and son. In 2023, Keon graduated from King University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, a minor in public administration. He also played collegiate football. During his free time, Keon enjoys spending time with Ariana and their 2-year-old son. This profession has intrigued Keon since freshman year of college, and he was inspired by those around him who had a profession in law enforcement, led him to apply to this department. Keon loves the idea of making a positive impact by assisting others and helping to make the community a safer place. Keon seeks an honorable career path within his profession by advancing throughout the department. Officer Anthony DeTorres. Anthony graduated also January 9, 2026. He's from Montgomery Township, New Jersey. He received a bachelor's degree in law and justice from Rowan University while also playing college football there. He went into the academy after college as an alternate route, and we hired Anthony while he was still in the academy in December. In his free time, he enjoys outdoor activities such as hunting, fishing, as well as working out. When asked why Anthony wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement, he said, "I've always wanted to become a police officer since I was little. I always looked up to police officers. My great-grandfather was a police officer in Reading, Pennsylvania, and my dad would always tell me stories about him." Anthony also hopes for a future in leadership within the department and plans to continue to work hard to reach these goals.
All right, I state your name.
I, Keon D'Angelo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of New Jersey,
of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same
and to the governments
and to the government
established in the United States
established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of police officer
of police officer
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
As we conclude tonight's ceremony, I want to recognize 3 recruits who are in attendance to support these officers, and they will be attending the next Cape May County Police Academy, which starts this Monday. First, Dennis Hickey, second, Jacob Wagner, and third, Raul Perez. Touch base back into something. I want to once again congratulate each of our newly sworn officers. Remember that every interaction matters. The words you choose, the decisions you make, and the integrity you demonstrate, especially when no one is watching, will define not only your career, but the reputation of this department. Never lose sight of why you chose this profession and always hold true to the values. Thank you for all attending this evening. Please join us in congratulating the new officers. Stay safe and have a wonderful evening.
All right, thanks, Chief. I just want to note all the officers who are also in attendance in the back of the room. It's always great to see you all here supporting your newly sworn in members. So with that, friends and family are invited to stick around and hear about what's new at Trails and Open Space and the rest of the business of the township, or you're excused now. So your choice. All right, we're gonna keep it moving. Next, under special proclamations, recognitions, and presentations, we have a presentation by Trails and Open Space and Stewardship Advisory Committee to discuss the committee focus for the year 2026.
Thank you, Mayor Parker, and also, so my name is David Pacheco, and I'm here with Mike Levine, who is also on our committee. And of course, we're here to talk about trails and space, but the new theme that runs through our presentation is how to improve things for the community in those regards, and do that using someone else's money. So our talk is divided into three parts. Saturn chemical, which Mike is going to address. And then we're going to talk about a situation with the Sabaton Creek and the new bridge that DOT is putting in next to Columbia Park. And then some opportunities for greenways. And each of those can be paid for either entirely or substantially by utilizing money that's available from different sources, which we'll get into more detail. But first, we'll start with Saturn Chemical. And Mike, who has that's his experience and profession working with hazardous sites, so he's going to take you through that.
Hi, so I want to just give a brief overview of the property. So this is the former Saturn Chemical. I'm sure most, if not all, know about this property. It's about 5.3 acres. It's in a location that's adjacent to the Delaware Canal State Park to the east, southeast. Also has a couple of parks nearby, the Hamnet Memorial and Nash Memorial Park. The site has operated as a manufacturing facility since 1918, so back over 100 years. And it's operated through about 1981 as a chemical manufacturing facility with various chemical manufacturers. Saturn Chemical Company owned the property from 77 to 89. So in 81, lower right, I believe, was a pretty significant fire, four-alarm fire that occurred that caused the facility to cease operations. But they continue to operate as a storage warehouse for hazardous materials till 84, and then they ceased that operation. So in doing so, when you cease operations at an industrial facility in New Jersey, it triggers environmental compliance regulations, particularly the ECRA regulation in 84. And Saturn did do some work based on their being the responsible party but not a lot of work. And it sort of petered out after the 84 trigger, and they did some work, but not a lot of work. There's not much in the record. But in the mid-90s, the township applied for some funding to assess or further assess the soil and groundwater conditions at the property. And they did utilize the state brownfield fund for that. That was in the mid-90s. And then more recently, in 2019, additional work was done, which furthered the investigation but did not complete it. And I would also want to mention in 2002, the township did fund demolition of the structures on the site. They came across 3 large tanks of tar-like resin, and they stopped. But they were able to utilize the EPA to remove those tanks in 2004. So that takes us to where we are now, which is that there's still soil and groundwater contamination on the property. And it's largely investigated, but not fully investigated, and it's the extent of the soil and groundwater quality impacts are not completely delineated. And that's where we can utilize the Hazardous Discharge Site Remediation Fund, which is the state brownfield fund. This site is considered a brownfield property. It's vacant, it's unoccupied, it's underutilized, it's industrial, and there is contamination. So that checks all the boxes for a brownfield site. And the eligibility for this grant fund is met. Specifically, there's tax lien on the municipal tax lien on the property. There's no viable responsibility, or responsible party, I should say. And there's documented impacts in groundwater soil. And based on discussions we've had with municipal representatives, there's an interest and a commitment to completing this investigation, defining the contamination, remediating the site, and bringing it back into some functional use as determined by the municipal plan or municipal initiatives. So what I would like to just briefly talk about is the money that's available. The fund will pay for 100% of the investigation to complete the investigation on this property. And in addition to that, if it's going to be used for open space, either partially or fully, the fund will extend that dollars toward the remediation of the property. Particularly if it's open space and recreation, the fund will match up to 75% of the remediation costs. And so it's a great candidate. It aligns well with the funding program. The fund itself is well funded in terms of balance of unused funds. It's, I think, will be $15–16 million at this point. So it's rich in funds, and it seems like a really good time to utilize the fund to get this property back into some functional use. And in addition to that, the fund is easy to use, and there's very little out of pocket to apply. It's $500 for an application fee. And I would help with the application, seeing it through to the approval, and then maintaining the administrative requirements for reporting. So to me, it seems like the right time to use the fund for the benefit of the town.
Quick question. Will we be able to ask questions at the end, or do you want me to, can we ask questions?
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
I think,
At the end, but now it's my turn.
I think we can take it to the end, is that all right?
Oh, okay.
We can take that. It's okay. Just wanted to check it.
Okay, sure, thank you, Mike. And the emphasis here is that the extra funding available, if it does go to a recreational open space use, and being adjacent to the canal towpath and also to a couple parks at the dog park, as a matter of fact, nearby, is a nice, it's right in between those, and it would work great as an open space resource. There's concrete there, I don't know if that could be converted into a skate park or some active recreation, but there's also woods in the property for more passive use. Okay, bringing us to, did I go backwards? Oh, let's go backwards. Okay, so this is something that we as a committee have been looking at for some time. And that is that the NJDOT is going to be replacing the bridge, this bridge right here, that's over the Chappaqua Creek, right at where Chappaqua Creek goes into Colonial Lake. And the township has invested quite a bit of resources in acquiring and expanding Colonial Lake Park and the trail system and shore restoration. So that's all very good, and I think it has increased the use of the park. And now it's possible to do a trail loop around the park, but the connection on the trail loop is less than ideal. It's this bridge, and basically the DOT plan is to replace it with something very similar, same width of sidewalk. Shoulder on the new design looks a little narrower, 10 feet rather than 11 feet. And the curb height on the bridge will be 6 inches as opposed to the current 7 inches. And that's on the bridge, leading up to the bridge will be 4 inches. But what we've heard from the community is that people feel unsafe walking across that 6-foot sidewalk with all the traffic coming on in front of you this way, but behind you if you're walking the other way. So what we are asking is that the town council would to put in a resolution to the NJDOT asking them to make it safer for people going across. Now, the design of the replacement bridge doesn't meet DOT safety standards. And so they probably, or could not, possibly not be terribly interested in doing more since it meets their standards. But I would ask that the council put in a resolution. We have some proposed wording here that, tells them that the community wants improved pedestrian safety and that you're replacing the bridge, so now is the time to do something if something's going to happen. And we'll leave it up to them to determine how to address safety concerns. And this is something that maybe they'll do something, maybe they won't. But if we do ask them and they say no, well, we haven't lost anything, but perhaps that they'll do something. And the other topic we're going to cover is development of greenways, development of trails, and the opportunities that are available to get funding for these. And I'm just going to present 3 examples that we talked about. And well, before I say what I'm going to say, let me just go over this slide. So Mercer County has announced a new trail grant program. It started this month and it runs through September 1st. And it will fund 50% of project costs, up to $25,000 for feasibility studies, and you can see that's $50,000 for design and permitting, $100,000 for rehabilitation, and $500,000 for new construction. And the only requirement is that it has to be on public land or has to be on private land with public access. And in addition to these funds, which are I think, pretty generous. NJDEP has a trails grant program, or recreational, I have a few notes here, recreational trails grant program that comes from Federal Highway Administration money. And they will contribute up to $24,000 if they approve your application for design or construction. So some examples of what could be done, and each of these examples we've discussed in the committee, but they have also come from the community asking for things to be done. And this one in particular, a parent of a Ben Franklin school student was looking for a quicker way to get to LIS. And of course, since then, we now know LIS is going to be 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade rather than 4th through 6th as it is now. So there is a way to get there using existing trails in Turtleback Park and a connection from Turtleback Park to 206 along the 5-mile run. The township has a trail easement from the Bridge Academy. So where that dotted line is adjacent to 206, that's an existing trail easement. So if the township were to apply for the county funds, they get 50% funding to design and construct that. That would be a big plus to the community. It also fits in, we also have a larger scheme that's not on here, but we put into our recommendations for the master plan. If you look in this area right over here, this is about 10 acres that's owned by Transco. And what we've recommended in the master plan is that the township seek to either acquire some to off that property or at least to get trail easements so that we could connect from Turtleback Park through the Transco property to Central Park and the Loveless Nature Preserve going out this way. And also, and it could be actually an expansion. This is called Battleground Park. And if we were to expand the park down this way, we'd actually get them closer to where the actual battle was back in 1776. But if the trail network could go through the Transco property and connect up to the White Pines Apartments, which are up or still in that area. So that would be, it'd be a great connector for the schools and also for people in general. For the larger scheme, that's further in the future. I think more immediately, the township already is able to make this connection if we get the funding. Another connection that was brought to us by a resident, and actually something we've been looking at over time, would be a way to get from Princess Road, which is where the Amazon warehouse is, to the DNR Canal towpath. Now, in the planning board approval for the warehouse where Amazon is now, there was a requirement to provide an easement to connect from Princess Road to the DNR Canal State Park, the existing parsonage. This is an old abandoned road that is still walkable. And so they did grant that easement, and over the summer, the committee, along with our liaison, which is the farmer, thank you for coming with us, walked that path to explore it. You see Dennis Waters there, I'm there, Jeff Lang, Matt Pops was there also. Somehow he escaped the picture. And the other person was the photographer, Jim Hooker, took that picture. So the 6 of us made that walk. And it was fairly open. And again, this is something that the township has control over for the easement part. we of course have to work with the state DEP and the parks division on the causeway and connecting to the DNR canal towpath. The most expensive part of this would be a new trail bridge over the creek, over the Siptawkin Creek. And the funding opportunity here is actually even better than any other trail I'm going to talk about because of the Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission and their emphasis on the circuit trails. And the circuit trails goes around the Philadelphia area, but extends up well into Mercer County. And both the DNR Canal Towpath and the Lawrence Hooper Trail are considered part of the circuit trail. And they have funding from the William Penn Foundation, and they've been very generous. That's how we got full funding for the Maidenhead Meadows boardwalk on the LHC that's now open. And they've also funded the Pretty Brook Road, way in the north of the township, on the other side of the Stony Brook. So Pretty Brook Road, the LHT is now on the road. We'd like to move it off the road, and the township has gotten funding from the Delaware Regional Valley, DRVPC, say it that way, to do that construction. So here is a nice connection that could be done with basically no money by the township. The issue, probably I should have said this earlier, but the issue here for this trail connection, the advantage of it, is that, nice reminder, that we have I-295 here on cutting off these neighborhoods from the north, where we have the trail access that is the Verity House is the closest one. And we have US Route 1 freeway that cuts across here, and the canal is on the other side of the freeway. So it's these people in here that really don't have, if they're walking or biking, don't have such great access to the canal. And looking at the census block data, this is about 5,900 people that live in this cutoff area. 5,900 people, that's like 1/6 of the township's population. In fact, the resident who was really advocating for this lives out on Westbourne Drive. And this is the last slide. So we talked about asking the NJDOT to improve this bridge portion over here with the replacement. And they may say yes, but they may also say no. Another approach would be to complete that loop over the Siptawkin's Savacon, the Savacon's entrance into the Colonial Lake with a bridge. Now at the southern end, the eastern end, where the Savacon exits Colonial Lake, we have this nice bridge that you see in the picture. So given the availability of county funding, at least we could probably get through the feasibility and planning stages using 50% support from the county to get a bridge design that's within the park. And you can see where it's a new bridge over there. And that way, we don't have to worry about what happens on US Route 1. And then once we have a design for the bridge, we can worry about paying for the construction later. The grant program for the county expires on September 1st. So that's our presentation, and we welcome questions.
Thank you. Councilman Palmer, as liaison, you can start.
Thank you for your presentation, and the detail. You can tell that the Trails and Open Space has been hard at work, over the past year or two, investigating all of these options for our town. So just want to say thank you for that. And also, I just wanted, if you could, for those who don't know where Saturn Chemical is, what is the address, thereabouts, in Ohio,
Yes, New York Avenue,
New York?
kind of behind, what's that, Hamlet Park and Nash Park. So, yeah, Ohio Avenue is the, main street that goes by those parks. And then the next street over towards the canal is New York Avenue.
There's opportunity for southern part of the township to have some additional
Oh, yes,
open space.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll leave it at that. I'm pretty familiar with this.
So are the grants for the trails, is this like one block grant that you apply for all at once, or is this, they're
By project.
by
Yes.
project? So you have to act pretty quickly, I guess, once you get the feasibility study finished and so on and so
Yes,
forth.
yes, so the county funds, they will fund up to whatever the dollar amount was, I have to go back to the slide, for a feasibility study. So the county will fund feasibility, development, maintenance, they also have a maintenance grant, and there's also, construction, and so like, if there are existing trails that need some maintenance, there is money there from the county to fund half of it. But you're right, you'd have to act quickly to get as many stages done as possible because it expires on September 1st.
And do we have a timeline for, the bridge replacement?
So based on what I saw, they have like draft timelines on the NJDOT website. So it looks like they're going to at least look at doing quite a bit of work this year. And the construction is expected to be, I hate to say because it's been a while since I looked at it, but certainly by 2027, 2028, they'll be constructing.
Just thinking in terms of like timelines for all of these.
Yeah, and they have staged construction. They're gonna close half the bridge and leave out the traffic to the other half and demolish and rebuild that and then do the other half of the bridge.
Councilman Connect?
That's before our presentation.
I had a few questions. Is the Saturn Chemical site a Superfund site, a US Superfund site as well, or is it?
It's not, it's the lead agency is the New Jersey Park Environmental Protection.
Yeah, I guess I thought that for some reason, because of, I guess, the dramatic photos and everything else.
Well, there was an EPA removal action, and that was removing the tanks, the product, so, but that doesn't deem it a Superfund site, it was just sort of an EPA removal action.
Do you have ballpark costs on? Have you, in your research, have you seen anything? I'm not expecting you
In
to.
terms of what's been expended to date,
Or how much
how
those prior studies thought it might cost, or?
Well, if we're talking about like what the township would apply for to finish the remediation, well, okay, that's a great question. There is $3 million available per applicant per year to investigate. Okay, so that's more than enough for this site. But I believe I did a draft application on this site. I don't have it with me, but I believe the investigation was about $150,000, I believe. Remediation would be in concert with redevelopment, in my view, if it was going to be converted to open space recreational use. Meaning, if we're gonna turn it into a park with public access, and there's historic fill on this property, which means there's metals and base neutral compounds in the soil, that would need to be capped. But the capping can be done in concert with the development of the park and its amenities and features, and there would be funds available to pay for that cap. So that in itself, it's about $212,000 per acre to cap. So $5 to $10 to cap it. That's ballpark. And the fund has that money available to match that remediation cost. It would be a 75% match.
Thanks. And then I'm really excited about the trails that you're proposing, because I've seen those historically before, heard about those different routes. And I know the county's very interested in sort of developing new trails, and I'm definitely, things I'm really interested in the next couple of years is sort of mobility throughout the township without using a car. So these are
Music to our ears.
we're in alignment there for sure. I did have one question about the bridge over Colonial Lake. Do you see that in addition to, say, let's say the DOT does change their design? Do you see that as an add or an either or?
So it's certainly the advantage of having DOT make modifications to improve the safety is that it won't cost us a penny. So, but thinking longer term, it would be nice to complete the trail loop. So say the DOT does, listen to the township and make those changes, then of course the new bridge would not be such a priority. But since the money is available from the county to fund half of feasibility and design costs, it might be prudent to just go ahead and do that, and then just have something available should we get another opportunity for grant funding that will allow us to build the bridge. But so the bridge would be ideal, but that's obviously a longer term solution. The bridge, the existing US 1 bridge is going to be done within the next few years. And maybe that's can be long term in some sort, but for government, that's actually very, very, very quick. So, so yeah, the speedy solution would be to have DOT make the crossing feel safe for pedestrians, and it won't cost us a dime.
I appreciate your optimism.
Well, I
No,
am, it's sort of like, as I was saying, it's something that won't cost us anything to ask, whether or not they agree to do something or they just blow us off. But so there's no downside to asking. The worst that could happen is they'll say no.
Of course. And I have one question for the manager.
Yes.
Mr. Nowinski. Do you have any sense of what the timeline is for that bridge? I'm not, if you don't, that's okay, I'm sure.
I do not know. No. I can tell you that there was discussions we had with the state DOT representatives about widening that bridge to make it safer for pedestrian use. And we did not get a positive response back.
Didn't meet their standards, I'm guessing. This
And
meets their
honestly,
standards.
there has always been a plan to put a bridge, a pedestrian bridge over that portion, eastern portion of Colonial Lake, to keep the trail within the lake and away from Route 1 traffic. Given what we've created at, what's the really house? Maidenhead. That whole boardwalk situation says to me, wow, that's a great opportunity to put that over at Colonial Lake Park.
Absolutely.
And there most likely would be grant funding for that. And the maintenance of that, see, one of the things that I always think about too is, okay, we get this open space, we now have to maintain it with manpower, public works and things like that. So, but I think something like that is really worth our time and effort If we could keep everyone in that Colonial Lake Park, walking around the loop that has nothing to do with Route 1.
Yes, that's the best.
Award
Thank you.
amazing head.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Thank you, Mr. Jelinski. Well, thank
And
you.
I do have a question though, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, sure.
With the Saturn, so I was the township attorney way back in the 2002, 2003. I actually went down to Washington DC, at the EPA offices for conferences with all of the ownership and leasehold interests of that site before it was Saturn County, from 1918 all the way through. And the EPA was eyeballing all of those potential owners as being a responsible party. So I don't know if it ceased being a Superfund site or it never actually was, but there was EPA action that compelled all of the owners to go before the EPA and hash out how long did you own it, what did you do there to determine culpable parties. So, it's just what your presentation kind of triggered me thinking, wow, there's gotta be more information out there with regard to that. Because the one thing that I've learned in dealing with the pit stop site, which is an application to the same program, and the craft cleaner site, which is also an application that's pending. Those two sites that we identified first as giving our time, effort, and resources to, because they are so prominently situated in our community. Pit stop right on Lawrence Road, craft cleaners right on as a part of our redevelopment of the Brunswick Pike. That there has to have been an ownership interest or control of the site. So, for example, pit stop, I had to locate a family member of the defunct LLC's managing partner who was deceased to get them to agree to allow us to pursue the study of this site, the remediation of the site, and once it was completely done, then the township would take it over after getting a no further action, because we don't ever want to take over ownership or control of a site that would then come back at us as being liable for a cleanup that we weren't responsible for, and now our community taxpayers are paying millions of dollars to fund something. So that's the other question I'll have about Saturn site is how do we, now I know there's over $800,000 in tax liens, right? That are out there unpaid. And I don't know how we legally become a controller of that site without acting upon those tax liens, which I would not want to do because we don't want any part of that land until we know it's cleaned.
Yeah, I can.
So it's like a conundrum of sorts, right? Like, and that's why zombie properties exist all over the place, because nobody wants to dive in and get it done.
Understood. I can comment on what the DEP and the EDA consider site control. It's a deed, it's a tax lien, or it's an intent to acquire for purposes of redevelopment. Those are the big three site control criteria that the EDA and the DEP look for in order to deem an application eligible. So if we came in with an application for Saturn with a tax lien, that would be the criteria, that would be enough to move it through to approval.
Right.
Okay. And so that's maybe a different definition than another entity's site control, but that's the site control definition.
And step two, my concern would be, we have actively identified 2 sites already within our town, utilizing that fund and needing more from that fund in the future.
Good.
Do we want to add a third substantial site to compete against these 2 sites that we've already put time, effort, and years into? It's like the pit stop, we were able to study the site, have it 100% covered, able to remove the building 100% covered by, and then now the next part is we need to study the ground underneath the building, because that was the one that was never studied, and there's a lot of waterways underneath there. So that would be just another piece piece of the equation of determining whether or not we want to add another site to compete with two sites that we're down the road with, and we can kind of see the end game with both of them. So it's just something to think about.
I understand, I've worked with hundreds of municipalities with this grant program. And I would say that, again, there's $3 million available per year per applicant. So depending on how much was spent, well, this year, it's a new year, okay. Then you could manage it in a way that you wouldn't be essentially competing with the other grant projects as long as.
It's 3 million in total per applicant. Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Per investigate. So you can weigh what you're putting into these two and see what you have left. And again, it resets every year.
It would be interesting to be able to do a study of the Saturn study site. That study would also reveal all the things in my head with regard to the federal government. That will all come to the
I was gonna
forefront.
comment on that because the first step that we would propose to do is a preliminary assessment. And that's a paper study
Yeah.
that goes back
Yeah.
to undeveloped, and it would identify all the entities and all the environmental history of the project.
And then if we could get a cost
And
for remediation, that would be key for everything.
well, that would be the end game for the investigation, which is paid for 100%, which is complete the investigation, then we get our arms around the extent and then the cost.
Yeah, we had a company reach out to us years ago, when I was here, this was like maybe 2019, 2018, interested in that site to use it for, I think, solar panels. And so it's sites like that that appeal to those companies because they're not going into the ground. It's capped and over the top, and the interest for municipalities would be they have to pay the tax lien in total. So that fizzled out, as most of them always do. But there's a lot of questions, but I think we could, if the council is committed, we could probably take some steps towards where you guys want us to be.
No, it's good. I was gonna say, this is interesting conversation, and thank you to Councilman Farmer and for you to have this presentation, because I think it's giving us a lot of things to think about. So I'm excited about the year ahead for the trails and open space.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes,
Thank you.
Thank you for your time and attention.
That. Consent is good. So now, public participation, 5-minute limitation per speaker. There's also another one later, so, all right, thank you. Review and revision of the agenda. Yes, we do need a closed session.
Okay, Mayor, since the agenda was printed, a matter's come up involving litigation that we'd like to briefly address with council. We asked that the agenda be amended to reflect a closed session with regard to pending litigation.
Now, do we need to take a motion to amend for that?
Yes.
Motion to amend the agenda?
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda.
Second.
Need a vote?
Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Adoption of minutes of previous meetings.
Make a motion to adopt the minutes from regular meeting October 21st, 2025, and regular meeting November 6th, 2025.
Second.
Second?
Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Santos?
Yes.
Mayor Dodd?
Yes.
Awarding and
awarding and or rejecting the bids.
I'd like to make a motion, for number 54, authorizing and awarding a bid to Techna Pro Electrical LLC for traffic signal maintenance, 2026.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Nerwinski?
Yeah, the township does maintain traffic lights throughout the municipality, and we do have a company that we've retained to provide certain maintenance when needed. And this is a contract not to exceed $46,550. There's really no way to determine what's going to be needed.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the public? Seeing none?
Ms. Farmer,
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Entos,
Yes.
Mayor Bonner.
Yes. 10, introduction of ordinances.
I can make a motion to move ordinance number 2503-26, an ordinance amending ordinance number 2502-25, salary ordinance of the Township of Lawrence, unclassified and or exempt seasonal emergency non-union employees for 2023 through 2025, deleting the title of municipal treasurer from Schedule B, grade 18, and adding the title of municipal treasurer to Schedule B, grade 23.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Nerwinski?
This is paving the way for eventually a CFO to take over from Peter Kiriakis, who was scheduled to retire December 1st, 2025. Our CFO search proved to be a little bit challenging. We did identify and you interviewed several applicants, and Christopher Hart was an applicant that met our criteria. However, we had a concern that a new CFO coming in cold in the beginning of the budget season and with other things that happened in terms of bond refinancing and things like that in April, we asked Mr. Kiriakis to delay his retirement and help with the transition to the new CFO. He's agreed to do that. We cannot have two CFOs in place at this time, so Mr. Hart has agreed to take the position of municipal treasurer for the time period. His offer letter that went out provides that it's the CFO position that he will take over, hopefully June 1st, 2026, if all goes as planned. Once we get over this part of it, the funding piece to it, because the position did not exist within the salary range that we needed, the council is going to be asked at the next council meeting for a resolution approving the appointment of Mr. Hart for the two positions that we've identified. Hopefully that's nothing.
I have a question. So does it mean that Mr. Hart will come on board before June 1st?
Yes,
That's what we're.
yeah, absolutely.
So that,
Our township's been pretty lucky in that individuals that have taken over the CFO position have come from within the organization, who have the experience of how our organization operates within our finance department and with other department heads. I think we could go back 25 years, maybe more, with regard to that. This would be the first time that we would go and appoint somebody from the outside who has no training or experience with how we conduct our financial situation. He's more than capable of doing this, but this is a situation where this is the community's finances, and I think it's in the best interest for our municipal government and the community's finances to take advantage of our CFO willing to stay on and provide a succession planning type of situation.
Sorry.
Ms. Farmer,
yes, and thank you to our current CFO for doing this. Appreciate it.
Mr. Kaneki,
Yes.
Ms. Entos,
Yes.
and Mayor Bonner.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to move ordinance number 2504-26, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of certain real property on Altamar Avenue for open space purposes.
Second.
This is a ordinance that would allow us to buy basically a vacant lot on Baltimore Avenue. This was highly negotiated, and we've come to we think a reasonable, fair market value of $82,000. This is not the actual acquisition. This just allows us to go to contract. We have multiple due diligence clauses within the contract, and we will, once we go through the second reading and then we need a resolution, we will move forward with reviewing both title and other aspects of the lot prior to us actually acquiring it. So this is like the first step for us to go to eventually acquiring this lot, which I think will benefit the community. Managers, any comments?
This is a companion lot adjacent to the pit stop area that will fit into our ultimate plan. This is where, right across from Bassio's, a billboard was there. It's just a lot that's where people have parked. We think that the plan in the end, if we were to get pit stop cleaned and become a township property, that we turn into a passive park. This is essential to expanding it and to make it more prominently situated right on Lawrence Road for a better experience for everybody.
Any other questions from council? Seeing none.
Ms. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Centers,
Yes.
Mayor Klein.
Yes. Managers report.
I do have 5 items. First is Federal City Road traffic improvement. A couple things have happened. Our engineer informed me today that the township had submitted a preliminary design for 2 left-hand lane turns, left-hand lane turn changes for the light that we want to install at Federal Point. The DOT had reviewed our initial plans that did not provide for left-hand turns. They came back saying, we want to see a plan that includes that. So we submitted tentative plans that would include left-hand turn lanes in both directions, which we think will improve the safety for navigating that intersection. It will require some right-of-way negotiations with an adjacent property owner, but it's not so significant that we think it's going to be an issue. So we hope that once we get back from New Jersey DOT that they are good with our concept plan, we will then put those plans into final design, submit it to the DOT for approval, and Mr. Pardees has a target date of actually doing work in the summer of this year. So if all goes well. Ewing Township has informed the mayor and council that the grant that they were going for from New Jersey DOT was awarded in the amount of $800,000. And that was for the installation of a roundabout at Federal City Road and Bull Run Road as a traffic calming device to stop the speeding that was going on in that area. The mayor has reached out and asked for cooperation from both Lawrence Township and Hopewell. I'm waiting to find out what their level of cooperation is for us at our traffic light. See if we can all agree that that entire strip that affects Ewing, Hopewell, and Lawrence should be addressed collaboratively together, and we'll see where we go with regard to that. But Ewing is going to be moving forward with the work the design work that's necessary to modify that area. Trenton Waterworks, a couple things. And I'm not going to step on Art's toes with regard to this. I'll just simply say that the litigation aspect of this, as you all know, the New Jersey DEP filed a lawsuit against Trenton Waterworks in the city of Trenton several years ago. Lawrence, Hopewell, Ewing, and Hamilton joined that suit, and we have been actively advocating on behalf of our resident customers for Trenton Waterworks. That litigation has essentially not really gone too far. the DEP has taken over or has exercised regulatory action over Trent Waterworks, which caused the litigation to kind of simmer down. However, it's now picking up steam. The judge that's presiding over it wants us to get to the bottom of this and wants the towns and the DEP and the city of Trenton to exchange discovery at a more quicker pace. And so interrogatories, depositions of parties and fact witnesses are going to be taking place. We had a meeting Friday at the DEP before the commissioner, I think his last day was today, where the second part to this is that the DEP had an RFP that went out to retain a firm to do an in-depth study of Trent Waterworks, to kind of deal with 4 different aspects of investigating what Trenton Waterworks needs and what regionalization may look like, or what type of other ownership and control could potentially look like involving the outside water users, Hamilton, Hopewell, Buell, and Lawrence. We were advised that the firm has been selected and that they are proceeding on that path as the litigation path is happening at the same time. I have not seen whether or not a press release has been issued by the DEP with regard to that, so I'm not gonna provide any more detail. I'll let their press release indicate who they've selected and what the parameters are for the study, what the end game is with regard to that. I'll just tell you, it was a very spirited conversation that happened among the city of Trenton and the other townships.
Thanks for stepping in for that.
Well, we are, I hope the Trent Waterworks customers understand that every towns are advocating, doing what they can, and it seems like the pedal's to the metal at this point in time. Our own fire study has started with the firm coming to our location and starting conducting meetings with certain players to get some background information to form the basis of their study. Our public safety director, Chris Longo, is taking over control and lead for the township with regard to the study. He's scheduled a meeting on February 18th at 6:30 p.m. here, where the firm that we selected to represent will be here, will provide a presentation, and we'll be here to answer any questions of anybody in the public with regard to what they're doing and what they should expect at the end of this process. We also have some good news to report. The township presented an offer which was accepted by the property owner of 36 Landover Road. This is the small schoolhouse-looking building across from the Lawrence Neighborhood Center. And our vision was that we acquire that property, it's been vacant for years, and that we preserve it and turn it into a museum to celebrate the history of that area and the neighborhood. I think I was told that it once was the original neighborhood center. Art and the other attorney are working together to craft an agreement, which will come before you as a resolution. We're pretty excited about that. The purchase price is $70,000. So we still have the studies where it's all contingent upon everything being what it needs to be for us to accept ownership of it. Finally, the 2026 budget schedule. This is the plan that we have in place, and certainly your feedback. If you deem that you think something needs to be changed, please let me know. The recommended budget and CFO budget presentation is scheduled for February 17th. The department heads will provide their presentations to council on March 3rd. The introduction of the 2026 budget will occur on March 17th, 2026, and the adoption vote will occur on April 21st, 2026. That's laid plans. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Mr. Yancey. Attorney's report.
My discussion will be in closed session as as indicated earlier with regard to some pending litigation, Mayor. Nothing else.
Thank you. Clerk's report.
Just a couple of things. Our, well, anyway, our new, Oprah program is up and running, and it is running successfully. You can go through the portal, people can put in their the portal. It's, for tracking and efficiency. So far, we're pleased with it, the departments are pleased with that. We also have, there's a new law about public notices and everything. So we have been working hard behind the scenes. We have a new button there where we have put a lot of resolutions as was requested, minutes. We're trying to go back as far as we can. Our agendas, everything is, a lot of stuff is up there, contracts and things of that nature is up there as well. And then, of course, we know, at our reward, our council person resigned. So, and there is a press release that's out on our website as to that resignation. That process will, the effective date was January 31st. So it won't start until February. There is 15 days that the Democratic Municipal Committee will present this council 3 names. Then within 30 days, the council will pick one of those names. If they fail to do so, it will go back to the committee and then they will pick a name. So far, the information I have is that the date is set for February 7th. And then I should have the name of the nominee by February 10th. I have reached out to the county clerk, and we seem to think that because this has happened before the primary, and that we might have a special election for sure, but nominated petitions can be done. But she's going to confirm that with her legal counsel. So as it is. So that's how we're going to be moving forward with that. March 23rd, 4 p.m. sharp will be the cutoff for nominating petitions. That can be in the clerk's office. And that's all I have to say on that matter. So, and that's it. That's my report.
Mayor, can I ask a question? To Mr. Saipan, how does that work with regards to our budget season and the voting that we'll be doing? Does the election impact the timing with regards to our budget?
It won't impact.
It should not.
Yeah,
It
okay.
should not. I don't see, right now, off the top of my head, I don't see how it should.
Okay.
All right, unfinished business? New business. Appointments to boards and committees. And everyone's okay with me reappointing people for all the committees? All right, I'll make a motion for, I'll start with affordable housing. I'll make a motion to reappoint Dennis Michael, Morale, Potty, and Jean Washington. Have a second.
Second.
Are we gonna call the word for each one you wanna do?
Or do you want me to just do it? Since
No,
the
no, we
You
can
can do
call,
those as block.
we can call it for each one if you like.
I'll ask my council colleagues. Would it be all right if I just list all the reappointment names and then? we'll just-
You voted a lot?
At the end.
That
sounds
good. Not the second.
I want a happy council, so that's what it takes. I'm all for it. So that's for affordable housing. We have no reappointments for cable and solid communications. We do have 2 for construction board of appeals, Nick Sparrow and William Hart. On diversity, equity, and inclusion committee, we have Patricia Dini, Paige Johnson, Rhea Patel, and Yinxing Zhang are interested in reappointment. So I'm putting them as nomination. For the Environmental Resources and Sustainability Green Committee, Michael Murray, Donald Little, Ryan Coulter, and Annette Lovelace. For the Growth and Redevelopment Committee, Edward Garcia, Melissa Clark, Peter Ferrone. For Health Advisory Board, Maureen T. Adams. For Municipal Alliance on Drug and Alcohol Abuse, Michael Patanella. For Planning Board, I'd like to nominate Jim Kanaki as the Class 3 council appointment. Ian Denver and Terrence Leggett. For Public Safety, Mr. Kanaki, as well as Charles Sista. For the Recreation Advisory Committee, Ed Kaczynski, Glenn Collins, Bonnie Giglio, Ernest Cerrone III, and Kenneth Kiernan. For Senior Executive Committee, Laverne Sneed and Melvina Israel. For Shade Tree, David Bosted. And for Trails and Open Space and Stewardship Advisory Committee, Jeffrey Lang, David Bosted, John Emmons. That's all I have.
I have a question. I gave you applications for some of those boards. Were you gonna do those tonight, or you want to do those
We'll do that the next meeting.
at the next meeting?
Second.
Ms. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Entos,
Yes.
and Mayor Pop.
Yes. All right, it's time for public participation, 3-minute limitation per speaker. Everyone's shy there, that's fine. I will close participation and move on to resolutions.
I'd like to make a motion to move in a block 18A through 18H5.
Okay.
Ms. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki,
Yes.
Ms. Entos,
Yes.
Mayor Pop.
Yes. Council initiatives and liaison reports.
Just, it was Martin Luther King Day yesterday, so I just wanted to, put that on the record. Celebration.
I'll just say I don't have anything on my committees, but I would like to thank again the Trust and Open Space for giving the presentation. I think where possible, I think this would be great. A great way to kick off the year, and I think it would be great for other committees as well when they're ready to update council on what they're up to, what their interests are, and how we can help. So that's wonderful. No written communication. Do I have a motion to go into executive session? Thank you all. Great evening. Stay safe out there.